Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. May fate and fortune long caress you. I thought I'd make a little fuss of you, so you'll be nice to us. Just sit quite still. Don't make a sound, and you will like us, I'll be bound. The story's good, we'll tell to you. It happened here. What's more, it's true. Florence will show you now your home. Tomorrow, maybe, Pisa, Rome, the nicest towns you ever saw. Don't laugh so hard, you'll break your jaw. This right-hand door, can you see, belongs to a learned LL.D. His erudition's vast, I'm told. He has both he is down cold. That dingy street is Lover's Lane. Those who fall there don't rise again. If you don't leave us in the lurch, you'll see emerging from that church a well-known friar, though I would not presume to say well-known for what. Next, you are all to get to know a young man called Calamaco, who lives in this next house by chance. He is just back from Paris, France. Calamaco is such a dandy. One look at him makes women render. This fellow loved unto perdition a certain girl of good position, and played a little trick on her, and who are we that should demur? Good people, since on this our earth of trickery there is no dearth, when you are tricked, fair ladies, see, you are tricked as pleasantly. The mandrake of our title is a plant with certain properties. When women eat the root, their fate. But this is to anticipate. Our author is called, alas, his name as yet is not well known to fame. If you should find his tale confusing, the whole show somewhat unamusing. He's quite a decent chap, I think, and may withstand you to drink. He offers, though, for your delight, well, what? An evil parasite, a scholar who is not too bright, a lover who is full of flight, a friar whose moral sense is slight. Is that sufficient for one night? True, true, such antic jollity is nothing but frivolity. This comedy is not profound. I'm not so sure it's even sound. Our author sends you his excuses. He says life's hard, the wound, the world obtuse is, and he most gladly would display his gifts in any other way. The only question is, who'd pay? Attribute then to lack of money is condescending to be funny. Can he expect a warm reception? If so, there'll be a rare exception. This age to sour contempt is quicker. To twisted smile, malignant snicker, the virtues that did thrive of yore. Do you think we'll see them any more? Men who won't devote their nights and days to toil without their need of praise. Who on a plant would spend his bowers, knowing that all his lovely flowers would by a tempest then be tossed, or in a fog concealed and lost. Moreover, if you have concluded our man's your victim, you're deluded. No matter for what sort you take him, you cannot nudge him, push him, shake him. And as for malice, he can do far better at the trade than you. For in the whole of Italy, wherever reigns, not yes, but see, there's not a soul who would know kowtow to. The only man he'd make a bow to is the only VIP he knows, a man in more expensive clothes. Backbite him if you please, but we must get on with his comedy. If you are to be home by 3, don't take the play too much to heart. If you see a monster, do not start. Just look right through him, and he'll go. But wait, here comes Calamaco. Ciro, his servant, at his side. These two between them will confide the plot to you. Pay close attention. The play will now unfold without my intervention. Don't go, Ciro. I want to talk to you. I'm not going. You must have been quite surprised by my sudden departure from Paris, and now very likely you're surprised that, having been here a month, I still haven't done anything. I don't deny it. If I haven't told you already what I'm about to tell you, it's not because I don't trust you, but because it seemed best not to talk of confidential matters unless one was forced to. But now, since I shall need your help, I am going to tell you everything. I am your servant, and servants must never question the masters, nor pry into their affairs. For when the master volunteers information, the servant must serve him faithfully, which is what I've done and what I propose to do. I know I think you've heard me say 1,000 times, but it won't hurt you to hear it the 1,001st, that when I was 10 years old, my father and mother being dead, I was sent by my guardians to live in Paris, where I've been these 20 years. After 10 years, the Italian Wars began as a result of King Charles's invasion of Italy, which laid waste this country, so I decided to settle in Paris and never go back to my native land. I thought I should be safer than in Italy. Very true. Having sent instructions that all my possessions here, with the exception of my house, should be sold, I settled down in Paris, and I have passed the last 10 years in great happiness. I know, devoting part of my time to study, part to pleasure, and part to business, and so arranging things that the three never got in each other's way. In consequence, as you know, I lived quietly, helping whoever I could, trying to injure nobody, so that it seems to me I came to be well thought of by everyone, be he gentleman or merchant, foreign or native, rich or poor. That's true too. But fortune, deeming that I was too happy, sent to Paris a certain Camillo Calfucci. I begin to guess what your trouble is. Like the other Florentines, he was frequently invited to dine at my house, and one day, when we were gathered together, an argument started as to where the more beautiful women were to be found, Italy or France. I could have no opinion concerning Italian women. I was so little when I left the country. So Camillo Calfucci took up the cudgels for the Italians, and other Florentine defended the French. After a great deal of argument back and forth, Camillo, in something of a temper, said that even if Italian women in general were monsters, he had a kinswoman who could redeem her country's reputation all by herself. I see what you're after. And he named Madonna Lucrezia, wife of Messer Niccolo Calfucci, and so praised her beauty and sweetness of manner that he left us all amazed and aroused in me such a desire to see her that I set out for Florence, putting aside all other considerations and not bothering whether there was a war on or not. Having arrived here, I found that Madonna Lucrezia's reputation fell far short of the truth, which is quite a rare phenomenon, and I am burning with such desire to make her mine, I hardly know what to do with myself. If you told me this when we were in Paris, I'd have known how to advise you. Now I don't know what to say. I'm not telling you this with a view to advise, but to get it out of my system, and so you can be ready to help when the need arises. I couldn't be readier. What hopes have you got? Alas, none. Ah, very few. Let me explain. First, her nature is hostile to my desires. She's the quintessence of chastity. The thought of love affairs is alien to her. Then, her husband's very rich, lets himself be ruled by her in everything. And if he's not exactly young, he's not antique either. That's clear. Again, there are no relatives or neighbors whose homes she frequents at wakes and holidays and the other pleasant occasions that young women delight in. No tradesman sets foot in her house, and she hasn't a single servant or retainer who doesn't go in fear of her. Bribery and corruption are therefore excluded. What are you thinking of doing, then? No situation is so desperate that one may not continue to hope. Even if one's hopes are feeble and vain, the determination to see a thing through causes them to seem far otherwise. So what makes you go on hoping? Two things. First, the simple-mindedness of Messer Niccolo, who, though he holds an LL.D. from the university, is the most thick-headed and foolish man in Florence. Second, his desire and hers to have children. Having been married for 6 years without getting any, and being very rich, they're dying of their desire for a family. There's a third factor, her mother. She was a bit of a baggage when she was young. She's rich now, and I've no idea how to deal with her. Since that's how matters stand, have you tried anything? Yes, in a small way. Tell me. You know Licurio, who's always coming to eat at my house? He used to be a professional matchmaker. Now he goes around catching dinners and suppers, being a pleasant sort of chap. He's had no trouble becoming intimate with Messer Niccolo and leading him a dance. The old boy wouldn't invite him to dinner, it's true, but he's been lending him money from time to time. As for me, I've struck up a friendship with this Ligurio, told him of my love for Madonna Lucrezia. He's promised to help me with all he's got. Take care he doesn't deceive you. These parasites don't make a habit of fidelity. True. Nonetheless, when you place yourself in someone's hands, you place yourself in someone's hands. I've promised him a large sum of money if he succeeds, and if he fails, a dinner and a supper. I'd never eat alone in any case. So what has he promised to do? He's promised to persuade Messer Nietzsche to take his wife to the baths this May. What good would that do to you, do you? What good would it do me? The place may well make a different woman out of her. In haunts like that, they do nothing but throw parties and such, and I'd be taking with me all the plausible arguments I could think up, omitting no tittle of pomp and circumstance. I'd become the bosom pal of both parties, wife and husband. Who can say what will happen? One thing leads to another. Time rules all. I'm quite impressed. Ligurio left me this morning, saying that he'd take this matter up with Messer Nietzsche and would let me know the answer. Here they come together. I'll step to one side to be on hand for a word with Ligurio when he takes leave of the old boy. Meanwhile, you go home and get on with your work. If I want you for anything, I'll let you know. Right.